Welcome to Sanguine Arts Locavart, the podcast that features interviews with local Twin Cities artists. This activity is made possible by the voters of Minnesota through a grant from the Metropolitan Regional Arts Council, thanks to a legislative appropriation from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. I am your host, interdisciplinary performance artist, Mary Prescott. Today we are speaking with Blossom Johnson. Blossom is a Diné playwright and screenwriter. She is from the Giant People Clan, and her maternal grandfather is from the start of the Red Streak People Clan. Her plays include Red Running into Water, Monster Slayer, Dark Earth, and many others, performed at theaters nationally, including Alternative Theater Ensemble, Mixed Blood Theater, Durango Playfest, and Pillsbury House. Blossom's work has been supported by First Peoples Fund, the Playwright Center, Netflix Animation Foundation's program, UC Berkeley, and several others. Her play, Diné, I Am a Sacred Being, or a boarding school play, made the Kilroy's Web and had a world premiere with Bag and Baggage and Native Theater Project. Her debut play, Red Running into Water, had a world premiere with the New Native Theater in the Twin Cities. As a dramaturg, Blossom has worked with the Guthrie Theater, Playpen, Urbanite Theater, and Yale Indigenous Performing Arts Program. Blossom was a librettist for Nautilus Music Theater's 2024 Composer Librettist Studio. She is a Jerome Hill Artist Fellow and a Democracy Cycle recipient with Daniel Lehman Smith. Blossom holds an MFA in Dramaturgy from Columbia University and a BA in Theater from Arizona State University. Welcome, Blossom. Thanks so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Before we get into your work, I wanted to ask you, how did you get into playwriting, and what is your origin story around your practice?
Mm, I got into playwriting when I started at Columbia. I got my MFA in dramaturgy, but then most of the work that I've been asked to do is to dramaturg plays written by non-native people who have like a native character, or just to be a sensitivity reader on a play that does have like a native character or native storyline or exploring native history. But that was like the only work that I've been asked to do. And each time I would say yes or no, depending on the project. But most often it would been no because I don't want to work on those projects because they don't excite me. They're not fun. And I do a read through of the play, and then I'm like, this is a project that will definitely haunt me in the future if I work on it. There's just a lot of stories out there that are written by non-native people, written about native people.
Sure.
Um, and I kind of got tired of being asked, and I wanted to write more. Well, that sort of inspired me to write more plays because I was like, okay, if these stories are being written by non-native people, then I'm going to have to start writing them because native people need to start telling their stories. And that sort of just skyrocketed because I was like, I need to write. And I wrote my first play actually at Columbia University, which is Red Running into Water, which did have a workshop in the Twin Cities and a
Mhm.
world premiere in the Twin Cities, and it traveled to different communities in the Twin Cities. And that play was my very first play, and I was surprised that it even got a world premiere. And I think it's mostly from the support of like Native theater leaders, like, country who are supporting all these Native playwrights and uplifting them and giving them their first world premiere or their first commissions. So I'm very thankful for like Native theater in the Twin Cities, but also across the country. Um, I worked as a literary like assistant sort of. So I got to read a lot of plays by native playwrights too and try to find ways to support their work. And there's a one play that I absolutely love so much. It's Dylan Chitto's Bingo Hall. And that's the first play I ever read by a native playwright that I was like, "Oh my god, I think I can actually be a writer." Because he was so funny, he's so clever, and he was writing, like, things about Native people in his own community that they I don't know, like, just about dreams and hopes and goals, and I was like, "This is such a fun play," and
Mm,
then eventually I got to be in a cohort with Dylan Chitto, and he wrote Pablo Revolt, and then I actually got to write Diné during
mm,
that time, so it was a real joy just to be able to read another writer's writing that sort of inspires you to continue writing.
Mhm.
'Cause I thought Red Running into Water was just gonna be, like, my thesis project for Columbia, because it was a translation project too, to see if like, to how sort of like, how do you, decolonize theater, or how do you indigenize theater? So that was sort of, like, what I was trying to explore at Columbia for my thesis, and I was like, let's see what I can do." It's just wrote the play and then had the play be bilingual too. So there's a bilingual version of this play that hasn't been performed. So the grandmother speaks most all Diné. So she just speaks Diné only, and each character that interacts with the grandmother also speaks Diné, because that's really accurate
Mhm.
on the Navajo reservation, that most of our elders still speak the language. Most of our elders, not all of them, because some of them did have to go to boarding school,
Sure.
but some elders still speak their language. So this family in Red Running into Water would be communicating with their grandma in Diné. Um,
Mm.
so I was trying to find ways to like preserve language, share culture, and share songs. And Red Running into Water did that, but also trying to confront like the main character did not want to be a statistic. Like every statistic, like the society gives to this young Danek girl, she's like, "Nope, I don't want to be any of that."
Mm.
So it was a good play to write. It
Hmm.
was like my first play, and then it was also like my way of like trying to heal from like childhood trauma too. So
Mm.
yeah, my therapist says that I was doing good things as I was processing what was happening to me as a kid. So I love that first play, and I think it's the first play I had to write to continue to writing to write other plays that I want to write, I guess.
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah, I and then from there, I just started writing more plays.
Yeah. I have a question for you, about you were mentioning that most of the elders still speak Diné. Um, what about the younger generation?
Oh, so I love this younger generation that's coming after me, because they are so proud to be Diné. They are so proud of their culture. They also know what happened in their history too.
Mm.
And for me, I think they are connected to their language. It might not be like 100% fluent. It can be conversational. They probably can't like write a whole book in their language, but I think they're getting there. So I feel very proud of this generation, because they're going to school. And right now, most of the schools on the Navajo reservation have Navajo language classes, Navajo culture classes, and like Navajo government classes. So there are ways that they're still learning their language. And I learned that this next generation created an app for like Dinapazad. So they're creating things like with technology to make sure that we continue to speak our language. And
Yeah.
I think that app, I don't remember what it's called, but the app was created by one of my favorite filmmakers. He hasn't really like filmed a feature film. I actually forgot his name, but he lives on the res. He's a filmmaker, and now he's created an app.
Uh-huh.
So, and I think a lot of like the storytellers too, also in the next younger generation, are finding ways to keep the language alive in their work. So I feel like I sort of do that with my playwriting too, but not as much as I could if it was like in a different, I think artistic category.
Hmm. Well, you still have many years left to write, so maybe that will shift going forward. I wanted to ask too, what brought you to the Twin Cities?
Oh, so I came to the Twin Cities mostly because there's a lot of Native artists here, lots of Native actors, lots of Native creatives, lots of support for Native like theater artists too. Like
Mhm.
I haven't seen this much support in my like early career anywhere else. So this was a place that felt like I could create. I could like create a creative home for myself here too, and work with other indigenous people, native people in the Twin Cities to develop work, create new work, and just learn from each other because I think almost every single Native artist I've met here is multidisciplinary. And then there's me, who's a playwright, who also wants to do more outside of playwriting too. So I'm excited to see what happens in the future, like how my career in the artistic field sort of shifts and changes and grows and evolves here. I think just learning how to write truthfully here, like without having to pitch ideas or to sort of like get approval from another theater company to write a play.
Mm.
Here, I was able to apply for grants and awards to write plays that I actually want to write
Hmm.
because
Mhm.
I feel like outside the Twin Cities, it feels very hard. I think it would be hard for me to like pitch ideas or to be seen um, amongst like every single playwright in the whole world and the whole country. But here, it feels like I can do it. Like I can be an artist here. How did I get here though? Okay, yeah. So I got here because of my play I wrote, Red Running Into Water. I did a workshop, I did a production, and then eventually I was like, I think this is the place where I wanna continue to work because I got to work with an amazing team, and most of them do theater still, some of them don't do theater as much because they have full-time jobs, but
Mhm.
I loved it. I love the community. I think the community is what keeps me here.
Mhm. Oh, that's beautiful. What are some of the other disciplines that you're interested in? Because you mentioned that you wanna kind of spread your wings a little bit.
So, when I got here, I also did the Netflix Animation Foundation, so it's, like, writing for animation, and that's, like, one thing I wanna do is write like, I don't know, like, a screenplay for animation and then see where that goes. I don't know if I would do, like, a very short stories, like, on Netflix. 'Cause I know there's, like, Spirit Rangers. Maybe I could. I don't know if Spirit Rangers is even still out there. I haven't checked yet. But there was also Molly of Denali on PBS. So I was like, "Oh, those are, like, stories I also wanna be a part of." Like, I like writing stories for, like, youth and kids and just growing up on the res. And I
Mhm.
was like, there's gotta be a way to do that, but also figuring out ways to write about our culture, our songs, and our history in, like, that format because I also, like, love Moana, and I was like, I would love to have, like, a I don't wanna say Disney princess, but I would love to be able to write something in that field, I guess. Um, but also
Sort of a hero, an animated hero. Mhm.
yeah, an animated hero that also sings, because I did get to do the Nautilus composer librettist studio here, so
Mhm.
that was so much fun, and I didn't realize how much I loved writing songs. Like,
Mm.
I'm not, like, 100% a professional, but I love collaborating with a composer and
Mm.
just creating something. So I was like, "Oh, this is something I can do." Like, I wanna write something like Encanto, Moana. So those are, like, the things I also wanna do, and I feel like it's possible, and I just don't know where to begin yet sometimes. I think I have all these giant ideas, but I have to, like, somehow narrow it down. But yeah, that's definitely something I wanna do in the future, like writing more musicals and writing more for animation, but also not shy away from, like, feature film writing. Like, those are, like, the avenues I wanna do. And then also, like, I wanna write a book. So there's a lot of things I wanna do, but I'm like, "Ah!"
You've got
I
a lot of writing to do.
have a lot of writing to do, and then I have projects I get to complete this year and next year, so that gives me, like, 3 years to complete the projects that I currently have for, like, different commissions that I have or different goals I've set for myself too. So, I was like, how do I fit that all in with these projects that I have to complete that
Mhm,
I'm
mhm,
passionate about too?
mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
You recently had a reading of your play Monster Slayer with the Perelman Performing Arts Center in New York, and Playwrights Horizons. Can you tell us a little bit about that play?
Yes, so Monster Slayer is about 2 twins oh, no, not 2 twins, 2 siblings or siblings who are grieving their other sibling. Her name is Kea, which also translates into land in Navajo, and they are trying to find ways to keep her memory alive. One brother, the sibling, the brother, is a comic book artist, and then the other is, uh a children's book author, and they're trying to find a way to, like, honor their sister who was taken too early. Like, they found out that she went missing, like, 2 years ago, and then they found her body, like, about 9 months ago. So, it's really an exploration of grief, but also being visited by these sacred beings that we consider sacred in my culture, Spider Woman and Horned Toad, and they appear in their lives to help them process what has happened, what's going on, and to overcome the trauma that they've experienced through this entire ordeal. Um, it's it's a really hard to explain, but tried my hardest to not feel like the play is gonna be, like, trauma heavy because I feel like it can get that way very quickly when you're writing about missing, murdered Indigenous relatives. Like,
Mhm.
it's very easy to sink into that, I think, because it is very heavy. But my one of my favorite authors, Therese Mailhot, always, and I don't know if I said her name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry, says, "Make sure your characters always have, like, some medicine stories for them to get through that trauma." And I
Mm.
try to, use that for my own writing when I'm writing about something very heavy, or, like, what are the medicine stories that these characters would carry with them, and these stories would go back to, like, their cultural stories, like, what are the things that have always gotten Diné people through troubling times is our stories, our songs, and our culture, like our dances, like all of that, like the reason why, like, we weave, like, just art. I think art has gotten us through all of these troubling times. So that's what I tried to do in this play, is reflect back on who we are as Diné people. Um which I think I got to do very well. I was very surprised with myself again when I heard the reading. At first, it's so hard sometimes when you go to the first read through and you're like, "Oh, maybe this play doesn't make sense." But then the actors knock it out of the park and they get it. And then then
Hmm.
the audience gets it. They find the humor through all of, like, the darkness, and then they can process their own grief, they can talk about death, but also laugh at the same time. I think finding that balance is always hard, but somehow that play does it very well.
Mhm.
I wonder who wrote it. It was me. Um, but the play had a reading with Perlman Performing Arts Center and the Playwrights Horizon, because Janet Harrison, who is the artistic director, or I don't think that's her official title, but she is one of the leaders for Native Performing Arts Network in Oregon, and she organized this national reading for missing murdered Indigenous relatives because she realized that a lot of youth who were in her summer camp program with her theater company were writing stories about missing murdered Indigenous relatives. So she realized that the students are writing about that. We've been writing about that. And that's the number one concern that the youth have and have noticed and have experienced, because MMIR has touched a lot of people in the Native community. So she organized this reading to amplify, like, what's been happening in Native communities. And she reached out to a lot of theater companies. So she did a lot of, like, the back work of, like, reaching out to theater companies, announcing this project or this reading series to amplify what's happening, and then not just to amplify what's happening, but find ways to take action too. So I feel like for me, it did accomplish a lot. It brought these stories to light. These theater companies also use their own platform, thankfully, to sort of share what's been happening, and also made sure that they had post-show conversations about the issues that are happening, but also providing more resources on what to do. So it didn't just stop at the reading. So I'm glad it didn't just stop there.
Mhm, mhm.
Someone asked her, Janet Harrison, if they would do it again next year, but then her goal is, like, hopefully we don't have to do this again, because maybe in the future it wouldn't be, I guess, I don't know, like, I feel like the readings are good. You want to end the things that are happening in our community.
Mhm.
Hopefully, in the future, it doesn't have to be like a national reading of missing, murdered Indigenous relatives. But I think it's always the remembering part too. Like, we do want to remember who we've lost in our
Mhm.
community every single year. So I think it's finding the balance of that too. It's like how, yeah, it's
Mhm.
very hard, I think. But yes, that's the play, Monster Slayer, had a wonderful reading, wonderful cast, wonderful director. I hope it gets a production. I think Native communities would respond positively to this play. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's great that you're making stories and plays that, that amplify that message. Speaking of the Perlman Performing Arts Center in New York City, you're also a 2025 Democracy Cycle recipient alongside Daniel Lehman Smith for a new project called Proclamation to the Great White Father and All His People. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah, so it's a project that, so Daniel and I have been collaborators for a little over 4 years, I wanna say. Like, we worked together on a play by Tommy Edinter called Built on Bones. Daniel was the director and I was the dramaturg. It was like a play I was actually happy to be a dramaturg for, because it's a play written by a First Nations writer. So I was like, "Yes, I'll do it."
Yeah,
And
it
then
means something different when
yeah.
you're, like, actually, like, telling kind of your own story.
Yeah, so it was a great project. It was virtual because it was during the COVID times. But I got to know a lot of, like, Native theater artists across the country because a lot of things were on Zoom. But also a lot of bad things happened in the COVID eras too. But I got to meet other people, but a lot of things happened. So since then, Daniel and I have been collaborating a lot, mostly me as a playwright and Daniel as a director. But we had a project. I had a play reading in San Francisco for Diné. So well, I think I've always been wanting to write about the occupation of, like, Alcatraz Island. I
Mhm.
sort of hint on it on my play, not on Dark Earth, because one of the characters comes back after the occupation and tries to find ways to help her community, but that's a different play. Since we're at San Francisco, we're just thinking about this play and how we could write it, and eventually, like, Daniel has, like, a lot of experience, docu theater drama. So that's sort of, like, the way we're headed. Like, for me, it's very new. Like, I've read plays by Anna Devere Smith, and then I've also read the Laramie Projects. Like, those are docu theater drama plays that I'm familiar with, but I myself haven't really done it, you know? Like, for me, I worked with community here in the Twin Cities, like, what kind of stories do they wanna hear? What kind of stories do they wanna see? So I've worked with that, like, community in that kind of way, and then writing it myself afterwards after, like, having community conversations. But this time around, it is going to be based on, like, conversations that we'll be having with survivors of the occupation of Alcatraz Island, like community members that are still alive today, and then also using archival footage to create a theatrical piece. So it's still early in its process, and we're going to be traveling to San Francisco, I think this summer or this fall, to do our research and to interview community members. A lot of community members have reached out and said they're interested in being a part of this project. So, my writing partner Daniel is gonna be, like, I think, leading the project from what I'm understanding, because I was like, because he has more knowledge around this. This is his field. This like his field. So I'm very excited to be a part of the project and also learn more about docu theater drama, but also, like, it's just, like, a big project that I've
Yeah.
been thinking about. Like, I don't know if every single Native artist has thought about, "How do I write about the occupation of Alcatraz Island, and how do we approach it?" How do we, like, find our way in? So, I feel like it's not like a project that only the 2 of us have been thinking of, but
Mhm.
it's just how we're gonna be doing it is a lot different, I think, from what everyone else is gonna be doing because there's lots of documentary films about the occupation, but this one would be theater. So I'm excited. So I think that's all I can say right now about that project, but we're hoping to have a draft next year and then a workshop of the draft and then submit maybe a production draft to the Perlman Performing Arts Center and then see what happens from there. But I think it would be a powerful production too.
Are they planning to produce it eventually, or is that sort of TBD?
That's TBD, but they do have like the first right of refusal. And they we don't want it. I feel like they would want it. But yeah, it's TBD. Yeah.
Cool. Later this year, you'll have a new project in development, Bow Wow Powwow, presented in collaboration with Mini Gijik Theater Ensemble. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and your collaborators?
Yes. So, let's see. I was approached last year, okay, about this project, and I wanted to meet with my co-writer, who is Diné McNamara. She's Brenda Child's daughter. So I wanted to meet with her to make sure that I was the person she wanted to write with because this is a collaboration and I wanted to make sure, like, are we sure we're gonna be a good writing fit? Like, you can say no. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, disappointed if I'm not working on this project because I wanted to make sure, like, everyone on the team was like, this Diné person from Arizona is gonna be working on this project with the co-writer because we're not the same tribe. We don't have the same language, obviously, and Bow Wow Powwow is written by Brenda Childs, and they're both Ojibwe, and I'm Navajo, so I was like, are you sure you want me? Because there's probably other Ojibwe playwrights that you can work with." But she said yes, and then I was like, "Okay, the rest is history."
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do it. I was like, "I'll do it, fine." But I'm really glad that I got to meet with my co-writer first to have her say yes or no because I feel like it's really her first choice of who her collaborator would be.
Mm.
Um, but I'm thankful and grateful to be a part of the project. We had a workshop at the end of April with stages and Minigishik, and we invited community to the first read through. So right now it's still in early stages. I'm very excited that it's going to go up in September. But we're working on another draft and we're hoping to have just like a casual reading with friends to see if it's like good, like if we're like, okay, this is the
Right,
draft that
right.
we're proud of.
Yeah, get some
But
feedback on it.
yeah, getting some more feedback. So, this isn't my first time collaborating. I did collaborate with Upstream with Mixed Blood Theater with Mukta, Ryan, and Johanna. Those were
Mhm.
my collaborators. So I feel like I've been collaborating a lot with a lot of these projects. So I have Daniel on my other project, and then I've Diné on this project. I think collaboration can sometimes be very difficult if there's like no clear communication about what
Mm.
goals are. So I feel like setting goals and also like boundaries are like this is what I definitely don't want to write about. So I always want to hear what my collaborator wants to write and
Mm.
what they want to avoid, especially Bow Wow Powwow. We use most of the text from the original text from the book, and then we're adding additional dialogue between, like, characters to expand on, like, their relationships, and just to expand on the world too, and it'll be more choreography and dance heavy too. There's music. We got to collaborate with Bijiki, so they sent us some music, and it sounds really cool. But Benet has a really big idea, so I always, like, follow. I'm like, "Yes!" And then I make it bigger, and then we make it bigger, and then it just explodes, so I like jumping off of the collab like, bouncing on a collaborator just to get ideas
Mm.
out. Um, It's very different for this process because my last process was like we just separated and wrote things ourselves. But for this process, we're like writing together.
Mm,
Yeah. And I think that works for us because I also want to make sure like the writing reflects like the humor and like the way people casually speak here in the Twin Cities too. So I'm trying to get that because I can easily write like a Navajo character that feels very Navajo, but I also want to make sure like the Ojibwe characters in Bow Wow Powwow feel very Ojibwe.
mm.
And Diné does that, and then she adds like a bunch of Ojibwe language into the text too because a lot of community members want to hear like the language also on stage. So it's a lot, not a lot, but it's like I think a good process.
Mm.
I feel like sometimes we always need more time, but somehow it comes together in the end, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
how did this happen?" I
I
think
feel like
it's
no matter how much time there is, you
Mhm.
always feel like there's not enough, and then when you get to the end, you're like, "How did we do that?"
Right? And I'm like, "How did it happen?" It's like because you have excellent collaborators, I think.
I mean, that's one thing, right? For
Mhm.
sure, for sure. What is the story of Bow Wow Powwow?
Oh, the story of Bow Wow Powwow. Let's see, Windy Girl and Itchy Boy are the 2 main characters along with Uncle. So, Windy Girl and Itchy Boy are like 2 pals, um, and eventually she dreams of a powwow that features dogs and only dogs. So, the dogs would be singing and dancing, and then she wakes up, and it's very hard to explain without reading the book. But it's pretty cool. Um, but Brenda Childs was inspired by a begging song that she heard someone sing. She knows the name of the person, but I always forget who she heard singing, and then
Mm.
she was inspired by the begging song, which is Bow Wow Powwow. No, which was We Are Like Dogs. So the begging song We Are Like Dogs inspired her to write Bow Wow Powwow. Benay and I are trying to figure out how we also incorporate the history of the song into the book too, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, did the like how did the song come to like fruition?" Like how do we add that layer in if that's what we want to do? So it's a lot of questions as to like how what do we want to add that's not in the book that feels important for the audience to know. So it's a lot of things and lots of figuring out, but Bow Wow Pow is fun. Come see it at Stages. It's directed by Sarah Plotsky-Warzeha. Mm.
And when is that happening?
Yeah, September 16th to the 27th. It'll be at Stages, and then after that, it's gonna be touring around Minnesota. It might just be Twin Cities
Mhm,
or outside the Twin Cities. So
mhm.
they'll have a tour in Native communities, so it won't just be in the black box at Stages.
I see, so like a metro area,
Yes.
regional tour, I suppose you could
Yeah.
say.
So
That's really
it'll be
cool.
fun. It'll be fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
And and you mentioned, that there was gonna be dance and movement in there as well, so, could you tell us a little bit about your collaborator for that?
Oh, that's a good question because I wondered if we would have a choreographer or someone who like specializes and knows all of the dances. But I feel like a lot of the dancers who grew up dancing in powwows might already know. But my collaborator, Benay, she knows like all most of the dances. 'Cause she's a power dancer too. It really depends on the actors too, like who we're hiring, because I think most of them would already know how to dance, but that's a good question. That's one of the questions I've had is like, do we need one? But also, if everyone knows how to dance, it's like, how do we make it also cohesive? Si So I think that would be like Benet's role too. Um, but yeah, because we have all of the dances, I believe. We have fancy, we have traditional, we have jingle, and then we have like a cute little potato dance in it too. So there's a lot of dance in it, and I want to see how it all comes together. And I feel like we won't be able to see that again until like the rehearsal process.
Mm, mhm.
I'm not sure how much time we'll have in rehearsal, but we had a workshop to sort of figure out how the dance is gonna work in this piece, and
Mhm.
it looked really good. I was like,
I
"It's
bet.
so good." Yeah, and then we had, like, songs, so we'll have a live a hand drummer on stage too. That's something we've learned about during the workshop is, like, do we have, like, a pre-recording of, like, music, or do we have a blend of both? Like, Bijikis would be pre-recorded music that we just press play on, and then the live hand drummer after we had our workshop, we're like, "We need a live hand drummer." 'Cause it really makes everything so alive. Like, the theme
Yeah.
not the theme, but what we're aiming at for the piece is, like, the powwow is always in motion. So how
Mm,
do we do that in this very short play, have the powwow always in motion? That's why we have a lot of dance throughout the play, and then we have, like, live hand drummers 1 live hand drummer probably. So it really depends on the budget. Just kidding. But
yeah.
right now, we're like, "Yes, we need a hand drummer," and I think yeah, it was very cool. Like, a lot of people walked away very positive after that,
Mm,
workshop, but
mhm.
also it was a learning experience for the both of us is, like, how specific do we wanna be in our, like, stage directions, because if we're gonna have dance and where do the singers come in and, like, making sure that it runs smoothly, like, during it's not gonna run smoothly the first week of rehearsal, but trying our best to get that
That's what the rehearsal is for, is to,
right.
like, tighten it up. Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
For sure. You talked about a little bit earlier about, the importance of a shared goal with your collaborator. What are your goals for this piece?
Oh, the goals. So for this piece, I know that my collaborator wants to make sure that it's not too dialogue heavy, but also a celebration of powwow and dance and music. So I think for me, as someone who writes plays, a lot of plays, and a lot of dialogue, I think also like pulling back just a little. Um,
Mm, mhm,
and then trying to find another way to express that visually instead of like, speaking it. So that's
mhm,
a challenge for me, but also a goal for like the both of us. How do we make sure that we're honoring powwow dance and music
mhm.
stage in this little theater piece? Not a little, but it's a pretty big production.
It
Um,
sounds like it's gonna be really beautiful.
I think it's gonna be very beautiful too. Yeah. I'm excited. Just from, like, the little glimpse that we saw with, like, the kids and, the adult actors too, so it looked really cool. Oh, and one question we had too was, like, is Itchy Boy gonna be a puppet or an actual little boy?
Mm,
After the workshop, we sort of we're currently leaning towards that Itchy Boy would be, like, an actual boy instead of a puppet, but we'll see what happens. But, um, Sarah's son, Bear, played Itchy Boy, and he did fantastic. I think that's what's making us lean towards, like, "You know what? Itchy Boy would be cool as a actual, a human playing Itchy Boy instead of, like, a puppet. Because how do you capture, like, the humor in puppetry with that? I'm not a puppet artist too, so I was like, there's a lot of elements I'm into, like dance, choreography, puppetry, um, music. So it's a completely new experience for me. I feel like this couldn't happen outside the state of Minnesota. So that's why I'm very happy that I get to create art here and just grow.
yeah. It sounds like you're touching on a lot of other disciplines in this project that maybe are, like, gonna be windows of further exploration for you, as you talked about at the beginning, you know?
That is so true.
And also with Itchy Boy, it's like if you already have an Itchy Boy, he's built right in, right? It's very cool. You recently participated in the Pillsbury House Chicago Avenue project. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Chicago Avenue project and what your role was in it?
Okay. So Pillsbury House Theater has a program called Chicago Avenue Project, and they partner with like a school. So each time I participated, this would be my second time, was with Falwell Community School. And I'm so bad at like the Twin Cities geography. So I know it's Minneapolis over there, and I know I'm in St. Paul. So
There's a river in the middle.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know, but they do a lot of partnerships with, like, schools, to bring theaters no, to bring arts, at least well, I guess the theater to the schools. Julia Nickerson leads the program, and she always reaches out to, like, playwrights, directors, performers, if anyone is interested in working with, like, students, especially with students who wanna tell their own story, but then the playwright would be writing it. So she reaches out to, like, a bunch of people, and I said yes my second time, only because I think it's a great program. Um, it's a voluntary, so a lot of people probably are not interested in it, but I feel like this is my way of, like, giving back to the community as someone who feels like I've grown as an artist here, who's gotten grants and commissions here. So it feels good, I think, for me to meet with, like, this one student. The student I got to work with had a lovely story, and it's like, how do you get their story into a play format. So but it always happens. The first play I wrote was Riley and Wren Against a Book Thief. It was for two of the youth actors at the community school, and
Mhm.
they have like a passion for books and reading. So that was like a play that I wrote. They're trying to find the book thief because they're trying to win money to go to I think a Comic Con, but it
Oh.
was for rabbits. So it's very fun because they tell you stories that you would never ever think on your own, and I think of it when I go into it, it's like I'm pretending I'm on, like, an animation show, and I'm in a writer's room, and how do I get this story out into, like, the world? So I pretend like I'm in a writer's room. And then the second time I participated, I wrote a little spell, and it was really fun. Like, I never got to go out and see the productions because it feels very far to me too. Because I feel like if I can't get there with, like, less than 2 metros and less than an hour, then I probably can't go. Sometimes I
Mm.
would Uber, but then sometimes Uber is, like, too expensive. But I like the program at Chicago Avenue Project. I think they work mostly with communities on Chicago Avenue for that project.
Mhm.
But both my experiences have been great. The students have lots of stories to tell, and they're always happy to see it on stage, is what I'm told in these emails. Like changes.
So if I understand correctly, you're matched with students, what age would you say? Like, around, like, I don't know, 10, 12,
I wanna say elementary, but yeah, 10, 12. I think
maybe younger?
yeah, I think the age range for the kids I worked with were about 10 and 11, so I
Okay. So I was right on the mark.
yeah, I always forget their ages. I just know they're young, and I just know they're, like, really tiny.
So you're matched up with students,
Mhm.
and then, um, does it work where they tell you their ideas for a story, and then you write a little play for them, and then they act in it?
Mhm, that is correct.
Okay.
So, we have, like, a first meet and greet. We only meet the students once. So, as a group, we do, like, we go to, like, their school, we do, like, exercises for the theater, they get to know us, we get to know them, and then they let us know which kid or kids we'll be paired with, and then we just listen to them. We ask them, like, a bunch of questions, and then it starts, like, a casual conversation about what kind of stories they want to have, and then, yeah, we write it, they perform it, a director directs it, and then sometimes they're always paired with an adult actor, so it's like one I guess adult actor and then the youth,
I see. Mhm.
and then production. So it went up, last week or a few weeks ago? I forgot. So it's I think and then they have, like, costumes and they have set pieces, so
Oh,
it's like
cool.
a real production.
Yeah, and do the kids also work on the production end of things?
Maybe that's a good question. I'm not quite sure about that, but I did ask the actor, like, what kind of costumes they would wanna wear, what the set would look like, so I sort of add those details into the script if it's, like, really important to them. So I feel like that's how I know that they're also being involved, like, in the design aspects of
Mm.
the story they wanna tell.
Mhm. So they really get to imagine
Mhm.
the world that they're envisioning.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
And then how long are their plays? Are they short?
They're very short, so 10 minutes tops, and then there's, like, maybe 6 plays,
Mhm,
at, like, 60 minutes, so it's about an hour,
mhm.
maybe. I kinda forget how many people are signed up. Usually 6 to 8 plays, but I think this time 6 plays.
And how long does each program run? Is it a couple of weeks? Is it a semester or a
Maybe
quarter?
a couple of weeks, because this year we had the a lot happen, so their school started a little later, and, and then they weren't sure if their after school program was gonna happen because of the ICE raids. Because most
Mm,
students at Falwell are very diverse. Some of them speak Spanish, so some of them speak both Spanish and English. So it really depended, because this year they were seeking more Spanish speakers for the playwriting, but then I still said yes in case someone wanted to work with me. I was like, "Maybe." I was like, they're like, "We'll put you on hold, Blossom, to see if we need you." But then they said yes. Um, but yeah, a lot happened in schools.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think I was trying to, like, be sensitive to, like, the kids too, like, what they're experiencing,
for
because 'cause they've
sure.
also been online for school, and then
Mhm,
also had to, like, come back to school, start school later, and then also they're worried about their community too.
mhm, for sure.
Um, yeah, so a lot's happened, and somehow the program continued, thankfully, because it's like, how do you try to write about what's happening? But the stories they wanted to write about, I think, were very positive for the future. They're very optimistic despite everything that's been happening in our communities, especially also in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's just lots of hope. Like, they have lots of stories. Good stories and also bad stories. Not good or bad, but good and, like, they have good stories, that bad is, like, what's happening, like, the things that are scary.
Right, 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 gotcha. Yeah, yeah. That sounds like such a cool way for kids to kinda get their feet wet in
Mhm.
the theater world and just, like, make their own stories come alive on stage. I'm wondering, what were your takeaways from the project, and did you end up learning anything new or memorable from the experience working with the kids?
Oh, let's see. I think mostly, like, I don't know, I was like, "What do I take away?" I think, like, I love their stories. Like, they have such big imaginations.
Mhm.
And then also trying to put it into a 10-minute piece. I always try to capture everything the student says to me and put it in the play, and I feel like each time I get it 99.99%, in the play. Then the 0.101%, I was like, "Oh, I don't know how to put that in."
I mean, I think that's
Mhm.
pretty high percentage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it's really just listening, listening and then also having them trust me that I'm actually listening to them, and I'm actually
Mm,
gonna write the story that they're telling me to write. And I think there's lots of trust too. It's like, yeah, you actually believe in my stories. You're gonna write it. You're gonna put my characters to life. And even if it's like the silliest thing, like I think one was hamburger head, and one was French fry head, and then
that's so
there's
fun.
there's right.
Yeah.
I was like, this is I'm like, I'm in a writer's room. And then there's, like, spells, there's magics, there's potions. So, I don't know, I was like, "How do I" then I did it, I did it. I don't know
Yeah.
how successful it was, but everyone says, "It's great, it's great." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I was kidding, but I think the kids I think the students I'm partnered with always love what they end up getting.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're very nervous, so I'm not sure what they did with this production because I haven't, like, watched the recording yet. I know when, like, the student was afraid of, like, navigating a puppet, but then
Mm.
I was like, that's the point
Were
zero
you
one.
like, "I'm also nervous about that?"
Yeah, I'm also nervous about that, and I know you're nervous, but I'm gonna put it in. So So we'll see what happens. I have to watch the recording.
Yeah.
Um, but each time I didn't get to see the performances, but I know that they did amazing because the rehearsal reports, like, "They did amazing," or the email updates, "They did amazing."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how a project like that could not be amazing.
Mhm.
How did you feel about your role as a mentor?
Oh, my role as a mentor. Let's see. I think it's very hard. Like, I love meeting, like, students and helping them tell their stories, but I only get to meet them one time.
Mm,
And there's other opportunities to show up, like, for tech and dinner and then rehearsal, but sometimes it's like, how do I get to the theater or how
mhm,
do I get there? So, hopefully, I'm not disappointing them by not showing up, but I think they're, like, okay with it. But as a mentor, I feel like, it feels sometimes very hard because it's like, how do I know that I'm doing a good job or if they're what I'm saying is sort of sinking in? Like, a lot of my playwriting classes, I'm not sure what I'm doing most of the time because I don't know how people are, like, soaking in all this information, but towards the end of the class, I feel so much better because they've all written plays. Like, and there's some and they're really good. I was like, I don't know if that was, because of, like, my little push, my little nudges, but somehow these students wrote plays.
yeah, maybe
Uh-huh.
that's all it takes is that little
Yeah.
nudge.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that their imaginations are there, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Kids' imaginations will always be on point.
That's so true.
I'm curious, did you have mentors of your own that really influenced you?
Oh, sometimes I forget, and then I'm like, "I don't even know how I became a playwright," but then I remember that I did a dramaturgy oh, no, playwriting for dramaturgs class with Leslie Avazian, and she's the person that has been, like, encouraging me to write, and I wrote my first full-length play in her class. It was just a class for dramaturgs to learn the process of playwriting from, like, just to get our little toes in the water about what playwrights might be going through and sort of understanding everyone's process is different and just our own way of dramaturging each other's plays too because
Mhm,
we don't get that time with the playwrights of like working with a playwright from the beginning of an idea to like getting them towards the end because we sort of like we're dramaturging each other's plays and push them towards a goal of like completing the play by the end of the first year, which everyone did. But only mine got production. I'm just kidding. No need to brag to my other cohorts. um, but yeah, Leslie has been like my number one mentor in writing.
yeah. Well, it sounds like she made a huge impact on you.
Mhm. He
Thank you,
did.
Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
If people want to experience your work or learn more about you, where's a good place for them to find that information?
My website, definitely. I try to keep my website updated with what's coming up. I think it's under upcoming, and then I have the previous reading, the May 5th reading, and then I have Bow Wow Pow on there right now in case someone wants to click on it, then they're just directed to the stages page.
Okay. And
Mhm.
what is your website?
BlossomJohnson.com.
Okay, and your Instagram handle?
At Squash Blossom.
At Squash Blossom. Great. Thank you so much, Blossom. It's so great to speak with you.
Thank you. I love chatting with you too.
Super fun. And to the audience, thank you for listening. This has been another edition of the Sanguine Arts Locavart podcast.